I am here with a very special person from Joe Daviess County. She's a friend of mine, but more importantly, she is an outstanding educator that has won a very special award. I am here with the Freepod interview this Tuesday with Susan Bookless. Hello, Susan. How are you?
I'm very well, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. So, Susan, how long have you been an educator?
I started teaching 18 years ago.
18 years ago.
Doesn't that seem crazy?
That just hit me a little bit because I'll tell you, I would never have guessed that.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that 18 years ago. So what do you do? I mean, what specialties do you teach?
So I teach at Galena. I've been there for the last 8 years. I teach sophomore English, just regular reading and writing and a little bit of speaking. I teach upper grades 11 and 12. I teach publications. So we're in charge of putting together the school yearbook. We have an online school newspaper that we put together. And then I also sometimes teach a class for seniors this semester, or this year it's college English. So it's just for kids who are moving on next year, either to a 2 or 4 year college. And so it's just their senior English class. They don't want to take AP and they don't want to take one of the other electives that we have to offer.
Well, you received some really, really good news this year.
I did.
And what news did you receive? And what'd you win, girl?
So I was recognized by the Illinois State Board of Education with the Award of Special Recognition, which is part of their Teacher of the Year program and those who excel. So I was nominated and I had to fill out some paperwork and get letters of recommendation. And then they chose 450 teachers from across the state, and I'm one of them.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
Now, do people in Joe Daviess County get this a lot or
No,
or not?
I am the only one this year from Joe Daviess County, and nobody in Galena has gotten it for the last 10 years. So and it's hard to say if that's because they don't know about it, they're not nominated for it, or they're just not as,
Oh, you're not, of course. Okay, Freeport and surrounding area. There's the giggle. That's my favorite giggle in the world right there. So basically what we're looking at here is you're going to have an award. There's going to be an award ceremony and so on. And because you're considered a teacher that excels. How do you excel as an educator?
I think that what I do really well is building relationships with my students. I think that that's really important to me. It always has been. And I like getting to know my students because then you learn how to push them in a way that helps them be pushed. And I think kids are more willing to do stuff for teachers that they like than they are for teachers they don't like. I failed algebra because I hated my teacher, and I just did math. I didn't math anymore. So, I also think that one of the things that I do well is I hold kids accountable, and I try to push them to be more responsible for their own education. I don't chase them down. If they have missing work, that's on them, and they need to figure out what they have to do to get their work done. And I give them lots of time in class where I'm available for questions. And if they choose not to use that, then the natural consequence is that they're not ready with their assignment or they haven't done their part of the learning.
So I'm going to throw this out to you, and it might seem like a little bit of a curveball, but you're great at thinking on your feet. What are some strategies you use as an educator? What are some strategies that you use that have succeeded, or maybe a strategy that you tried that didn't succeed as an educator?
I think that so we just did, my students we finished reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and they had to analyze theme and they had to analyze character. And so I gave them the end, and then we built up to it. So they knew what they were going to have to write about. And then we went backwards, and I gave them the tools they needed to write that essay. So I think that some kids need to see the big picture. They need to see the whole thing. They need to know where they're going so that they can get there. But some kids can't handle that. But if I've laid it all out, the kid that can't handle that, we take it one step at a time. So there was a sample thesis statement in their packet so that they could use that to frame their own thesis. And then there was an outline. And so they could fill out the outline. And the kids that are stronger writers and more analytical, they just went for it. And that was fine. But the kids that needed those other supports, all of that was there. And then I showed it to them and I talked about it and let them choose what would help them, because I'm not going to always be there and they're not always going to have a teacher to hold their hand as they move through the education system, and when you get to college, you have to just have some strategies in your back pocket for how to write an argumentative essay. And so if I give you these tools now, then you can practice them in this lower stakes environment and hopefully pull that stuff back out.
So I think I'm impressed with you for 5,000 different reasons, but I think one thing that you don't see as much, and this isn't a slap at younger teachers, but I'll say it anyway. Ooh, somebody just got scared here in the coffee shop.
Yeah, that
was kind of scary. Got a little scared. But I think the one thing is that you not only teach, but you also do extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of younger teachers don't do that anymore. They just teach. Why is it important to you? And tell us the extracurriculars that you do. Why is it important to you that you still continue extracurricular activities?
So I am the speech coach. So from November to February, I spend every weekend with students. I do journalism, so I have to go take pictures at a variety of events to help make sure that we have pictures for our yearbook and to teach kids how to do that. I'm also in charge of the Key Club, which is a service organization at our school. What else? I feel like there's a million more things, but I think that being involved in extracurriculars, like, it goes back to that whole relationship piece, and it gives you the chance to get to know your students outside of the classroom in an environment where they get to be more themselves. And I think that that's really cool to get to know them that way. And then.
Excellent. No,
yeah.
I get that. I get that a lot.
It's a lot of time. I think that's the reason that younger teachers don't do it, is because, and even older teachers, like, it's a commitment when you pick up an extra thing. I mean, you
36 years of it. Yeah.
Right. And so, you have to make sacrifices, and I don't see my kids, throughout February, and that's hard. I haven't seen my family since Christmas, because it's also tax season. My mom's an accountant, so we never see each other. But when you spend so much time with other people's kids, it's a sacrifice, and it can take time away from what you're doing in the classroom, right? Like, if you're directing a play until 7:00 at night, you're not going to want to go home and grade essays. So I think it's hard to find that balance between how you do all of those things. And that, 18 years I've been doing this, and I still don't always think I'm doing it right. But
and I think that makes you a fabulous teacher, because you don't think you're doing it right all the time. I mean, we know those individuals that believe they're always doing it right, and they're not. But
not always.
They're not always doing it right, but you always. I mean, I still get nervous at the beginning of a school year, even though I am not teaching and I am just coaching and directing. Mm-hmm, Are the kids going to like me? Are they going to respect me? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? I mean, those things are always something that hit you if you still need to improve or you still want to improve.
I think that's the key, is that wanting to improve. I really think it's also important for kids to see you as human. Like, I will talk to my students very verbally about how how I've made a mistake, or how I'm struggling to balance things, or how I'm having a bad day. And maybe we just need to be nice to Mrs. Bookless today, So I think that showing them that you're a human and not a robot, I think that makes a big difference too, because then they can identify with that and they can be like, oh, I'm having a bad day too. Maybe I should just say, I'm having a bad day. And Mrs. Bookless will just let me sit back here and do my own thing.
Have they ever said, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "No, I'm in a bad mood." And they'll look right at, they would always do this to me. They would go, "Is it my fault?" And I'm like, "No, it's not your fault." And they'd just be like, "Okay, you can have a bad day. I'll just go over here." And I mean, and that's what you're talking about right there.
Yeah. I mean, I think they need to develop those skills, and I think they can see you like do that. I lost my mind one day and everything was going to hell, and I started crying in the middle of a class, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know what to do with you." And I was like, "Just somebody give me a hug." And so they gave me a hug. We kind of talked it out, and then we got back to what we were doing, so I think that part, because you're not just teaching kids your content area. I think you're teaching them how to handle the world in a safe way, and I think like they need to see messy grownups be successful.
I remember one of my last years before I retired, and I was just having a rough one, and kids were like, "Connors, what do you need?" And I said, "I need a venti mango dragon fruit from Starbucks." And a kid got out of his chair and started running toward my classroom door. And I'm like, no, I'm kidding. Don't go. Thank you. But no, don't. It's a joke, and when kids take you that literally, they respect you. And that's a wonderful thing. I guess, as we end this wonderful podcast with you, congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
And for those of you that don't know Susan up here in Galena and around the Northwestern Illinois area, you should. If you've been to a regional or a sectional speech competition at Freepod High School, she's there. She's wonderful. You've probably heard her giggle every once in a while. And I think it's just one of these things that the educational world needs a lot of individuals. And Susan is a wonderful person. Susan, do you have anything to add at the end of this when it comes to education, or just about the idea of why this award is so special to you?
Well, I think the award is really special because it just, I feel a lot like I have imposter syndrome. Like I'm just never a good enough teacher, right? Like, and I am always trying to be better and more effective, and not just a fun person to be in class with, but I always want kids to be learning. And so I think being chosen as a teacher who excels just kind of validates for me that this is the right place to be. This is the right career for me. And that, yeah, I am doing some good stuff.
You definitely are doing good stuff. Thank you, Susan Bookless.
Thank
Congratulations on your award. I'm glad everybody gets to meet you. You are a wonderful human being, a wonderful educator, and more importantly, you have the best laugh in the business.
Thanks.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
No problem. Susan Bookless.